We'll try to do this by applying the powerful momentum of the Reformation, because I believe that the Reformation had a charisma, and we still can use that charisma nowadays in our ecumenical endeavors. Exactly 500 years ago, on October 31, 1517, a Catholic monk, Martin Luther, nailed his 95 theses to the doors of the cathedral in Wittenberg, which is now called Wittenberg-Lutherstadt, right? This event triggered global processes that shaped the modern world. Emancipation, diversity, democracy, many aspects of modern life that we appreciate today can be tracked back to that day. This country was founded by more radical reformers like the Puritans, who brought with them John Calvin's dream about building an ideal Christian society, and also by less radical reformers who wanted the society to accommodate everyone regardless of their beliefs. The American Constitution has embodied the spirit and sometimes the letter of the early covenants between the pilgrims who arrived at the shores of New England and God. The Reformation affected every aspect of modern humanity. Take art. The most beautiful, in my humble judgment, voice that humanity ever had, the music of Johann Sebastian Bach, was the prophetic trumpet of the Reformation. The Catholic Reformation that followed, I thank you, Sarah, for suggesting me using the word Catholic Reformation instead of a Counter-Reformation. I appreciate that. The Catholic Reformation that followed produced its own beautiful voices. If we believe that the Baroque style became a Catholic antiphon to the Reformation, then one can hear its echo in Vivaldi and other masterpieces of Musica Angelica. The Society of Jesus, by the way, also became possible because of the Reformation. Even the Christian East was affected by the Reformation and responses to it. For instance, the Patriarch of Alexandria and later of Constantinople, Cyril Lucaris, who lived in the end of the 16th, beginning of the 17th century, was influenced by the ideas of the Reformation and reflected them in his theological writings. He was recently proclaimed saint by the Patriarchate of Alexandria. Another important Orthodox theologian of the time, Metropolitan of Kiev Peter Mohila, was inspired by the Catholic Reformation to compose his Catechism, which became one of the most popular theological textbooks in the Christian East for at least 2 centuries. The radical changes in all social, political, and ecclesial domains caused by the Reformation came at price, though. They triggered religious wars sometimes, as we know, the divisions in the Western Christianity, and led to confessionalization of both West and East. Nowadays, nevertheless, the idea of Reformation inspired the ecumenical movement. Let us not forget that ecumenism, as we know it now, was launched over 100 years ago when in 1910 representatives of Protestant churches mostly came together in Edinburgh and adopted a new pattern of preaching the word of God, not by confronting each other, but by joining their effort. This is still a basic pattern of the ecumenical movement. We try to implement the same pattern on the campus of LMU. In my class, for instance, I sometimes ask my students to identify elements of the global ecumenism in the way how our campus functions, and the number of similarities is astonishingly high. LMU is, if you want, a microcosm of the global ecumenical movement.